Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, baby mums and baby dads, welcome to another episode of Take It to the Rim podcast with myself, Rods, aka I'm the reason why the Nuggets won the chip.
Come on.
You don't want me to? If you want me to explain, I can explain, but it's very simple.
Just
keep going, man. Please.
Yeah, I am the reason.
Carry on.
If you go back into the previous episodes, make sure you check those out. You'll understand why. What's the issue? What's the problem?
No, because what
You're
you talking
lying,
about?
nigga.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Why are you lying? 10 seconds into the pod, you're
I'm
lying.
not lying.
What did you say?
I'm the one that put the fire up the Nuggets' bum.
That's so poor. No.
He said I'm biscuit.
Aye. 10 seconds in. Yee.
Yeah, I'm the one who said Devin Nuggets ain't gonna do. I don't have no belief in them. I'm telling you, that man heard me. It always happens. Put it, bird man. That's me.
Damn.
AKA, man. Hopefully we can get somebody this off season.
I don't even know what team this guy supports.
Yeah, which team are you talking about?
What do you mean? Talking about my Nets.
Your who?
My Nets.
Okay.
Can you
your-
just tell us what your hat says right now?
Do you know what it is? Yeah.
Wow.
Wait. I can explain. 100%. I can explain. My other hat I left at home in it. I'm not getting the trim until the trad, so I'm just like, yeah, I have to wear a hat. So if I come on here,
What trad are you going to?
Wait, bro.
You're chopping rice?
Bro, that's like 3 weeks. That's like 3 weeks away. You're not getting a trim for 3 weeks.
I don't blame
course
you.
not.
It's got to be the best trim of his life.
of
For
course,
3 weeks?
yes, of course,
In this
not.
weather?
Of course,
That's a
not.
great point.
Just
Hats
have to
every
just
day.
wash and condition, innit?
Would
No,
there be
I'll
a
leave it.
suit,
I'll
man?
leave it out. Obviously, I'll leave it out. But yeah, that's it.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, man. It is what it is. Ain't nothing the same.
If there's fresh suya, please invite me.
Hey, listen.
He said, please, I don't need to see your line getting longer. Please stay at home.
All right. I'm joined today by, I don't know what to call him, LA Jules or Mr. Monster.
Mr. Monster, bro. I speak out here. But I'm here.
Out here with LA Jules. We got Clipper Cam
What's
in the
good, what's
ambulance.
We're out of the ambulance now. The season's done.
No, you're still in this.
What do you mean, bro?
Post surgery.
Paul George is podcasting, bro. I think he's
Yeah, that's what
fine.
he's saying. He's podcasting, not rehabbing. You don't heal from the mic, bro.
It's true.
Got him.
Mm-hmm.
And today, someone has returned. Because of this guy, I had to apologize to the Knicks. I had to sing an
Yes,
apology
he
to
sang.
the Knicks.
And it was beautiful. I must say, shake my hand, please. I really enjoyed that one because I just woke up one day and I saw the notifications. I was thinking, oh, my DMs have been dry for a while. But I saw something sweeter than a DM in there. Oh God, it was wonderful.
Man, yeah, it was peak, man. I got corned for that one. Can't lie, I got corned.
It was very. I'm not gonna lie.
was a great
Songwriting credentials
Yeah.
on the fly. I rate it.
I could have been a rapper, but I gave everyone else a chance.
Andrew ruined it.
Oh, no.
We got Soji in the building.
But listen, man. Valentine's Park Defensive Player of the Year. Last 2-3 years running. You know what I'm saying? Also, I just want everyone to know that since the last... Actually, I want everyone to know that I was the person who backed the Nuggets. If you rewind the tape that day, I said the Nuggets or the Suns.
Okay.
And the Suns lost to the Nuggets, so, you know, I'm defended.
Mm-hmm.
And also, since coming and being there, I also did win 2 trophies as well. So me, I'm with the Nuggets. I'm on the winning side. Yeah. I won a basketball trophy. I won the Nyla Giggs.
That's a good name of it.
Yeah. No. I got it. I left my medals at home. I was gonna bring them, but I forgot. You were rushing me out the house. But yeah, no, it was a memorial tournament, basketball memorial tournament.
Okay.
And I won it with the UDFN boys. So we all came together. It was feisty. There was beef at a memorial tournament. So that tells you why you can't take niggas nowhere.
Okay.
But yeah, shout out to that. And then also, I won the Saturday Silver Cup. That's football. So man of many talents.
Hey.
And now I'm gonna win a podcasting trophy.
Hey. In Jesus' name.
Me.
Listen, talking about he was back in the Nuggets. So, 2023. Your 2023 NBA champions.
Let's rally it up, baby.
Are the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Well done to Denver. They showed the league why they're a serious team. A few things, obviously, they
They
did.
showed you.
Me?
And these two.
What, these? No.
Why is it these-
Mainly you.
Yeah, me, obviously, because...
100% you.
Yeah, 100%.
Cam doubted Jokic.
Yeah.
You doubted the Nuggets. But then Cam did say they're the number one seed.
Yeah,
You had no faith.
Yeah, I had no faith because I didn't. Do you know this? I had no faith because I was like, okay, Jamal Murray's come back from injury. I don't know how this guy's gonna perform. Even if he's okay, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm not sure how everyone's gonna, what's gonna happen. All these things. Obviously, they made some moves on the free agency. In the NBA trade deadline, they made some very important moves which helped them. And I think without those moves and off-season moves they made, obviously they wouldn't be where they are today. But yeah, I didn't really have doubt. I knew obviously Jokic would do whatever, but I'm just thinking, don't know about this Denver team. They've been number one seed. Have they been number one seed before? Or maybe I got PTSD from the Utah Jazz, number one seed, not doing nothing. So, and obviously that's all I've seen. All I've seen from Denver is first round exits, getting whooped. So yeah, obviously what Warriors been whooping them. When then the season before that they get kicked out first round as well. 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah, the season before that was conference finals. And 2 seasons without Murray.
Conference finals was bubble.
Yeah. And then this is the 3rd season after the bubble.
Yeah, so there was bubble.
2 seasons without Murray and this season.
So that's so out of the 3 years, was it 3 or 4 years? 3 years?
The bubble was 3 seasons ago.
2020 bubble. Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, that what happened in it. Cool. The year after that, they got smoked in the first round.
Without Murray.
No Murray.
Yeah, no. And then the year after they got smoked again, right?
No Murray.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But I'm just saying that. Hold on. No, it's not that. Obviously, yes, I know they had no Murray, but is that it was a one-man army because Jokic, Jokic and the rest of the team was niche. I was like, that's why I was like, I don't have no faith in him. I know Jokic is going to do something. Murray, I don't know. Maybe he might be or might be not because we don't know how players come back from injury. Not everyone's 100%, and no one can tell me and they can say that they saw Murray playing at this level in the playoffs.
I did. I saw it
Like,
the last time he played.
Bro, I'm talking. Usually he doesn't like in terms of his assists went up almost double.
I agree with you.
He was almost
Only on the
double
assist part.
assist,
Everything
rebounding as well because he wasn't getting no double doubles.
He had a 30-point triple double.
Yeah, I know.
Come on,
But then that was like,
but double
once.
doubles.
But
He was
I'm
getting
saying
rebounds and assists as
when
well.
I always said it coming into the playoffs.
I knew he was a scorer because obviously, like I said, because remember I'm the one who said that if it wasn't for Murray's who is the main reason why they got to the
I
final
remember
in the
you
bubble,
saying
which was
I
wild.
did.
You
I
and
was
Joe
saying
were
that.
arguing
Which
about
was
that. I
wild.
remember that. Okay.
And you said
you
Murray
can
was their
see
number
why.
one option in the bubble. Was what you said.
Murray was the number one option.
Is what you said.
Yeah, he was.
And it was still Jokic.
No, it was Murray. Murray was the number one option.
Okay, I'm not gonna go.
100%. After the Utah series, when he's putting up 42, he was the number one option.
But Jokic averaged more than him in that series and in the playoffs.
He was still the number one option.
Mate, what I'm gonna say is the Nuggets are the real deal.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because they're the real deal.
I saw it during the
building
season,
dynasty.
and then like you could see bits of what they were about, and then they got to the 2-3 weeks before the end of the season. They were like, "Yeah, we're done, nothing to play for." And then people started thinking that because these men were resting logically, and it clearly worked, they thought they weren't a good team because they hadn't had 60 wins and and whatever. They were doubting them, and I saw the Western Conference, which is a shambles outside of them.
Or was it a racially motivated campaign? That's what you need to ask yourself.
Well, and that's, Jokic towards the back end just said, yeah.
Yeah, sit with your Magnum.
And
Like conspiracy theories.
he gave up the MVP. Not gave up, I'm saying he kind of tailed down and then Embiid went a bit up. So I think that kind of made the Nuggets look a bit worse and everyone was going about
He didn't really
Philly's
care,
record and Nuggets record was similar, whatever it was, if it was a game difference. However, Nuggets have always been the real deal. The playoffs showed that Murray and Jokic are levels, and then the supporting cast are excellent. It's the best supporting cast that I've seen outside of what we had since we had Lakers won in 2020. And they literally, this team could be as dominant as the San Antonio Spurs. I'm talking 10 years of making Western Conference Finals or NBA Finals. Like, they could be in and around the mix, barring like an odd second round shock exit every season. I think they're that good with that too. If they build around, keep the building blocks there.
Yeah, for me, they've really built around Jokic and Murray. Like, they've given them firepower off the bench, number one, and on the starting team, they've given them, I'm not going to say a two-way in KCP. You've got people who are going to hustle, people who are going to make the moves, and players who, they don't care what they have to do. It's just, whatever we've got to do to support these guys, that's our role. That's literally it. Obviously, bar MPJ. Well, even MPJ has a role, because everyone knows once you swing the ball to him, I'm going
it again.
Yeah, that's it. It stops there. So it's like, yo, do whatever. So because they've built that around those two is a big problem. And yeah, Jokic and Murray together, I just, they were too strong. They were too much for Miami, man. Miami couldn't take it.
I'm not liking all this downtrodden apology talk, guys, because I remember being sat where a certain Clipper fan is sat right now, and we had a little debate about supporting casts, and we specifically compared the Nuggets and the Clippers supporting cast, and you said the Clippers are deeper than the Nuggets. Would you like to retract that statement?
100% not.
They are. The Clippers are deeper than the Nuggets.
100%. You're not gonna come and say that the Nuggets won because they went 10-man deep in the playoffs. You're gonna say the Nuggets won the series because their best two players were the two best players on the court the whole series.
Exactly.
No, that's highly incorrect.
Oh,
are you crazy?
Are you absolutely insane?
Wait, what are you talking
Gordon
about?
dropping 27 points.
Okay, wait.
You're seeing KCP making clutch
How many times did Gordon
threes.
quick question. How many times did Gordon drop 27 points?
He did that. That's
And
high.
that shows zero depth in your team because what? He's a starter. Continue. KCP.
Yeah, and we're talking KCP,
another
we're
starter.
talking Bruce Brown,
K-
and then we're talking role players off the bench.
Okay.
Cool. Bruce Brown, clearly, we all knew what he did. He got the major offensive rebound, hit
There's
that.
2 Browns. There's not even 1 Brown.
Hey.
Christian Brown was balling as well. I'm not gonna let.
And the other Brown, the rookie, Braun, he clutched that, making championship plays the entire series, defensive plays, energy, clutch shots, clutch times when you steal the ball, get a clutch dunk.
Okay, but wait, you messed up.
How?
You know you fucked up, right? You know you fucked up, right? Because you were the same one on this podcast reading the stats of Jokic and Murray, where they even averaged more points, rebounds, and I think rebounds was just a bit short, but points and assists than Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was like, what, 60 points, 20
Yeah, but
plus
what's
or
that
30
taking away from
rebounds.
the role players?
No,
I'm
but
not
I'm
saying
saying
that what the two have done is insane, and obviously they spearheaded the team.
and that's the reason why they won.
It's not.
Obviously,
that's not only the reason.
I'm not saying
you
that's
have to
only,
say
but that's the main reason.
Are you making any sense right
that's
now?
the main reason.
The main reason you're not gonna you're both gonna say
So
the
you're
main,
saying-
no 100%. Really, I'm with you. The main you two are both gonna say the main reasons the Nuggets won is because
No, of course not.
So the main reason is what we're saying.
No, but no,
We're not arguing then. If you're agreeing with what you're saying, you're not arguing with us.
But like we discussed, the Nuggets made the conference finals before.
Yes.
And where they fell short was they
Yes.
didn't have the pieces around them that could step up in the moments when they needed them
Yes.
to. This time,
Yes.
we saw that they had that,
Yeah.
which is indicative of the strength of their depth.
Just right, let me hold you. Let's wait right there. You were saying obviously they didn't have the. It's not like they didn't at all. It's just that the Lakers role players outplayed them. It's not that they had no role players. First of all, they had KCP on Lakers. I have KCP here. So, okay, so you can see that there. Like the Lakers role players.
The Lakers still had
actually just
Kuzma.
played. Yeah, they had Kuzma. Like I said,
He
LeBron
was a star. As well as KD.
yeah,
So
saying
you just
LeBron
mentioned-
and AD.
Rondo was balling out.
Rondo
that
was there.
series.
Schroeder was
Kobe
playing.
Yeah,
playing
the
on
whole
that
everyone was
series.
like off the bench. Like
Russo
it was.
was balling out that series.
Bro, they were just a deeper team.
I'm just getting outplayed.
Oh, so guys who start are considered in depth now.
No, bro, we just named 2 guys who didn't start.
And I just did
No.
the same. Bruce Brown, Braun. That's 2 guys, and you're saying what?
But the point that Rodney made was what that the Lakers had a better bench, right?
No, the idea was that the role players stepped up.
I said they
role players
outplayed.
is outside of the
Yeah,
two.
they
outplayed-
superstars.
they
For me,
outplayed the
role
Nuggets
players
role
is
players.
depth.
Okay.
The quality of your role players are
Okay.
included in depth for me.
Okay.
So are
Right?
you?
And I felt like the Clippers didn't have the role players that you
This
could
year?
rely on.
They don't even have the star players because they're just.
How can you say that when
them niggas are
I'm
ancient.
gonna have to argue with you because what game did we get blown out in against the Suns?
None.
Okay, congrats.
No games.
your losses weren't that bad.
No, but
Compared to a team that actually won their games.
no, but bro, I'm not comparing it like that. But you're acting like the Clippers don't have a good bench. We played pretty much a whole playoff series without our two best players, and we didn't get blown out once against a good team as well. You're gonna say that the Clippers don't
Against
have
a team that lost to the team that had the depth.
No, of course, but we're comparing apples to oranges, isn't it? If the Clippers had, their two best players, it's a different conversation. I'm telling you, you're acting like the Clippers have pure scrubs on their bench. That we don't have any good role players. I'm telling you that because I don't know what Denver are doing without their two best players either. We won't see it because they're not as unlucky as us. But I'm saying when we didn't have our two best players on the court, the rest of my guys were chipping in. The rest of my guys were contributing. Everyone set up. You can't tell me they didn't.
I feel like
You can't tell me they didn't because it's just the fact they did. The fact that every single game we played in the playoffs this year, as short as it was, the 5 games we played. In fact, I'll say 4 games because scrap the one that Kawhi played in. They stepped up. I was so proud of my guys. The fact that everyone else managed to step up and contribute to that. And I understand it's difficult to compare them now. And ideally, I don't really want to anymore because they're very different playoff runs.
just thinking about the Clippers just.
No, it's not even just that. But when you compare the different playoffs, we played 5 games. The Nuggets played 20. It's a completely different conversation. I'm not shitting on the Nuggets role players. I'm just saying the main reason the Nuggets won the games they won and have their championship is because they have the best player in the world and the number 2 was going crazy. And I don't think you're going to argue that.
Yeah,
with me
but
either.
I think what you're doing is failing to like highlight and understand how good the rest of the team were in moments across this series and not just this series in the whole entire playoffs. Like I watched Denver a lot practically most of this week. I watched every game against us, every game against Miami, watched them a lot in the other 2 rounds as well. Denver are not just a team that are just 2-man led. Obviously, they are a 2-man team, but you're saying that's the sole that's the main reason they won. Of course it is, but you also have to comment. This is one of the best role-playing teams built around superstars we've seen, like I said, since the Lakers.
Say that line one more time.
The Warriors didn't have this depth last year. The Bucks didn't have this level in depth. They have it now, but they failed. When they won it, no. Since we won it, this is the best role-playing team. The team that I could say, outside of the 2 superstars, in Gordon, Porter, Caldwell-Pope, Green, Brown, and Braun. These guys are dogs. These guys are players. These guys bring everything you need in both ends of the court. We're not just talking about scoring and all. We're talking about the defensive plays they make as well.
And you can clip that.
They're the best team since the Lakers, bro. Like, in terms of role-playing team.
That's all well and good, but end of the day, the main reason why Nuggets.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that.
And that's what we're saying. But then there was all this barking, like rah, 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 rah. I said,
You acting like we were moving mad.
No. But what you're trying to do is
The
downplay.
Clippers role players are better, and I stand by that.
I just think you're trying to downplay the rest
and
of
was
the
it not
team.
me? And also, I know where you messed up again. And was it not me who mentioned Bruce Brown from the start, which was going to be a key player? And you guys laughed. So I'm right.
No, but the way you said it is.
I said he's going to be but I said
the way
he's
you
going to
built
be
it
a
up.
key player.
I remember that.
Yeah, but I said he's going to be a key player.
Cam knows.
No,
The way you built it up.
because you led with him.
That's what was funny.
I understand your point now, but you
all understood.
You said you
But I
said
called
Denver,
it, right?
You
No, we said it.
You said Denver Nuggets, and then you said Bruce Brown. You didn't say Jokic. You didn't say Murray. Now I know look, Rodney, I'm giving you a credit because you said Bruce Brown.
But you also said Atlanta in 7. You also said Miami.
actually,
you said Miami would win in 5.
Why is he not holding? Why
You said Miami would win in 5.
for saying Miami?
First, we're not talking about it right now.
I've got the howlers ready
We're
to
not
go.
talking about right now. And I don't.
Is this an intervention?
There's an agenda here because why is it only me that gets the compilation of howlers? What's going on? Where's you two?
No, because yours are outrageous.
I was coming for Cam. You backed him.
Because he has the camera in it.
You hanging when you're alone.
I just lost my dog.
He always gets you in it, so they're just documented.
You gotta start doing selfie mode, bro. Because it ain't fair, bro. I'm always gonna howlers, and it always seems to come back on Twitter as well. In whatever chat I'm in, it always seems to come back as well. I'm tired of this. This is not fair. But look, I'm not disputing the Nuggets role players.
No, they're good.
I'm
they're
not
good players.
disputing the supporting cast. Like I said, they did whatever that they needed to do to support them. Like I said, Aaron Gordon was hustling. He was taking on challenges of guarding LeBron. He was guarding, the best sort of wings and forwards on the opposing teams. That's what he was doing. He was hustling, 100%. KCP again doing exactly what he's done before in every team. Hits timely shots, defends the perimeter, 100%.
Just what a man. Casey, can we say that just for a minute? KCP, what a man.
Pause, but yeah.
Why is that pause? You can't celebrate your boy.
Like, it's like, yeah, no, he's a good player in it. Yeah, like he did his thing.
He's just the kind of, the reliable. Like, I'm sure he builds shelves. What? If you need a shelf, or let's say you're moving house, I'm sure you could call KCP. I'd be like, bro, and he's like, yeah, I got it.
I feel like he's one of those. Again, he won a championship with LA, and I think LA would admit they massively missed him.
I don't even understand why we let him go in the first place.
To get Russ. That's why you put it, to get Russ.
Yeah, but he dumped his nigger in Washington.
No, of
no
course.
wonder he wasn't happy.
That's what I know for a fact he was still pissed about that. But I think you're 100% right. Like, he's just the perfect kind of vet who can defend and hit. He's a 3-and-D vet who's won a championship. He knows, like, he's been in these situations before. He knows what it takes to win. And I'm not saying that he was the one, like, the driving force behind it. However, you're never doing badly when you have guys like that on your team.
He was even taking it off the dribble sometimes. Like, just a little, just maybe 1-2, and then
Do you know who I actually want to give a lot of love to? Jeff Green. Because I feel like Jeff, has had many, many years in this league where he's done the same thing he's still doing to today.
Yeah, 100%.
But I feel like, I don't know what it was in the playoffs this year, he just had a different edge to him in terms of, like, he was bullying a lot of guys. And I'm not saying that Jeff he wasn't having no 20 or 30 or 40 point games, but it's not about that, innit? It's just when the Nuggets needed a bucket, Jokic was getting him in the right positions to score, and he was doing it. The fact, I think I said it like a couple of weeks ago, I'm still surprised that the guy is still as athletic as when he first came in the league, or close enough to it anyway. He might not be running as fast, but he can still jump.
Yeah, 100%.
And he's not scared of contact or anything like that. And I think that's really valuable to have in a big man who doesn't just settle for jump shots and stuff like that. So I was really impressed with him. Christian Brown, that you mentioned as well. There was there was one game, I think he had 16 points?
Yeah, in the fourth.
15, yeah.
Bro, he was cooking the heat. And do you know what it was with it? If you look at the compilation, I don't know how long he actually had the ball in his hand for, how long he was dribbling for or anything like that. It was just off-ball movement, bro. Every single time, Jokic got the ball at the free throw line, and it was a post-up essentially, just waiting for a guy to cut. He just knows. Like,
and I feel fouls, being physical.
If you're on that Denver team, and you've got Jokic on your team who you know is going to get you the ball, if you cut every other play, you're probably going to get open layup near enough every time. And I think he just took advantage of that. You're right though. Denver have a great bench, great role players. Just guys who worked. We spoke about it on the way here as well. Aaron Gordon is like one of the perfect players that can play with Jokic. He's like a better version of Kenneth Faried, and I think the way he developed his game a bit more was sorting out his jump shot, being a bit more reliable, but also and you highlighted this to me as well. Like, even though he might not be 7 feet, he's still quite a physical guy. He'll box out, and you'll be surprised at how easy, like, the touches he's getting in the paint. It's crazy. But then again, when you have Jokic, it makes a whole lot of sense in it, I guess. I would like to talk about Miami, if we're being honest.
Yeah, before we do that,
No, of course.
We got to make sure we give them.
So I wasn't. What it was Rod. You weren't celebrating the Nuggets the way they deserved it, and we given the role players service because you man don't really care about them, right?
I still have time to go in.
I wanna give cadence and support and love to my guy.
Who?
Big Joke.
Yeah.
I like to call him Tubby, but he's lost a bit of weight, so I'm gonna call him Lil Tubby. Okay. Yeah. And that Lil Tubby, imagine there's the Lil Wayne lighter flick before the Lil Tubby. Yeah. So that's the sound.
Okay. I will admit I let racism get in my head and stop me from acknowledging how great he is.
And the first step is acceptance, Cam, so I'm proud of you.
I need to see this
now, Rodney,
on camera.
will you
accept
Like, look at ruin my career. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh no.
I'm gonna give the props. Yeah, I'm gonna give the props. I was just introducing it. That was my job.
Introducing what?
The Denver Nuggets. Listen, I'll give my.
Look, Cameron said what he said, and he's like, why? Why is it so difficult, bro?
What am I saying? I didn't let that get into my head. I didn't say that.
So that's worse than what was
What's your excuse, bro?
What was
I was always rating Jokic. I just didn't rate the rest of the Nuggets. that's who I didn't rate.
Okay.
So, and I take accountability for that. Like I say, the role players, Bruce Brown especially, like I called and said. Yeah. So I'm just saying that. But bro, Jokic was a problem. He dominated this whole playoffs.
100.
He couldn't be stopped. He was scoring. Okay, you guys want to double? He's assisting. Offensive rebound. He's there. Defensive rebound. He's there. He's pushing the pace. He was doing everything. So no matter what you try to stop, if you say, you know what, I'm going to stop him from scoring, others scored. If you say, okay, I'm going to stop him from helping others score, he's going to go get a bucket now. If they try to stop him from doing that, then he's getting offensive rebounds to kicking it out, someone hitting a free.
Let me follow up with you on his stats.
And in fact, before that, the worst game that he played this playoffs was in the first round, and the Nuggets won by I think 30 or 40, and that was against the Timberwolves. That was, and he had like 13 points, and I'm pretty sure he still had like
As they
10
should.
and 8 on
As
it.
they should.
But let's go through his stats.
As they should.
Okay, so he had a combined average of 52.9 points, rebounds and assists per game in the playoffs, which is the second most in league history after Wilt Chamberlain's 1967 playoff run.
You know when you're talking to Wilt, it's
Scary.
serious, you know.
And so basically he had he had better than all of Wilt's other playoff runs, where we all can admit they were part-time niggas playing then. Even we don't even know if they were part-time.
Did you see that?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
It just
How
came
many
out
of
of
you got?
nowhere.
No, but I heard clinging. How many of you got in there?
At least 4, because that was a cling of 4 bottles, bro.
Just two.
What the fuck?
The Maggie just came out of nowhere.
God.
But obviously, Jokic
Pull one from
in the finals averaged 30.2 points, 14 rebounds, 7.2 assists, 1.4 steals, and he shot 58.3% from the field.
Guy's a
God
cheat
damn.
code. He's a flipping cheat code.
Like, how can anybody stop this?
And he gave it to the best defensive bigs in the league.
Like,
Jokic was what's his name?
no, tell
Gobert was
me
there.
who he played. Tell me who he played this.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis was there.
Yeah.
Bam Adebayo was there.
Hmm.
But Jokic said, "I can't see you."
I think the only like elite defensive big he didn't play against was Embiid, and that's not Jokic's fault.
Literally.
But you couldn't even guard himself.
And then I need to talk about my guy. I've been watching him since he was in Kentucky. The Blue Arrow, Jamal Murray. Listen, people been saying, questioning his credentials. He hasn't got an all-star appearance, but this guy's clearly an all-star, man. And it's not just the showing up in the playoffs. It's the actual, if you look at the details of his game, it's phenomenal. There's really nothing he can't do. He's a phenomenal 3-point shooter. Shot 42% from the field this season, from 3 this season. And those are tough shots as well. He's getting it off pin downs. He's pulling up off the ball screen. He's scoring threes in isolation. Then you run him off the 3-point line. He's got a mid-range game. We've all seen highlights of his crazy finishes, high floaters, reverses, 360 layups. The guy's game is immaculate, and whether he's that good of a defender, he's still 6'5", and he's still strong and with that big body as a defender. And when he needed to in Game 5, Jimmy Butler with the ball, 30 seconds left on the clock, driving at him, he stonewalled him. Jimmy turned it around, turnover to KCP. So Jamal Murray, that's an all-star right there. And he better get it next year. And I don't want to hear recency bias.
Even like Jamal Murray, serious, and I've been screaming it for time, especially since the. Why do you guys look at me? I've said this. I've been screaming like from the bubble. I said this guy's a serious guy. Look
You know what, Rodney, you're a shameless man.
I'm not a shameless man. It's the
He
truth.
tries to claim
He
everything.
tries. Thank you very much. Why do you think he looks
Are
like
you
You know
telling-
what's funny? He
Are you
claims the wins of people and he claims the elder people. He's like, I've been saying he was shit for years.
Literally.
Next month.
Because it's the truth. I've been saying this. I said, so you told me I didn't say nothing about Jamal Murray when it was bubble season time.
When Gerald was here, yes, you were saying Jamal Murray was the number one option, and
Because I've been
and that he was
screaming-
and that he was the best player on that Denver Nuggets team during that playoff run. Yeah, you said
Which
that,
is
fine.
still false, by the way.
Yeah, it's not true, but
Yeah.
but that,
I'm just saying that
I
I
will
just
say
said that his efforts
yeah.
in that first series was the reason why they got through. He went bar for bar against Donovan Mitchell, bar for bar, literally.
But you said he was the number one option during the entire playoffs. I have the recording in my phone right now. I could get it, bro.
Lead it.
No, let me get some stats.
I want to get some
Oh,
stats.
have you got out of the stats?
I got you. Next time, say it's AI.
Drop the stats, bro.
Jamal Murray, this playoffs, 26.1 points.
I did.
7 assists.
I did.
5.7 rebounds.
I did.
Yeah, we're not gonna stop there.
No,
We're gonna
don't.
stop there. So
Drop his steals. Drop his steals per game.
1.5.
Ha. Drop his field goal percentage.
I was gonna say drop the percentages.
47.3.
Ha. Drop his 3-point field goal.
39.
Get out of here.
And he was getting doubled.
No,
He was
That
getting
boy
doubled off the screen.
efficient.
And even drop his free throw percentage.
That was
very important.
92.6. Redonkulous. Like, we have to understand what this guy was doing. Hey, you're moving mad still. You have to understand what this guy was doing. He was scoring.
Yes.
When they needed buckets, he was there. He was hitting tough shots everywhere. Doesn't matter who was there. Yeah. There was one layup. I can't remember. I think it was, it wasn't the finals. One layup that he did. Right hand. High off the glass. I said, wow.
That boy nice.
Yeah. It was just, it was just like, it's one of the ones that it's just one of the ones where it's like, you just gotta say, yo, well done, bro. Like, it was just a beautiful, lovely layup. Yeah.
For no reason.
And then Mammy said, you know what? We're going to trap that boy. What do you do? Okay, that's fine. First game, you got me. Well done, 100%. Then he adjusted. They're trapping him. He's passing out the doubles. No turnovers as well. None.
Yeah, 10 assists, no
turnovers.
turnovers.
No turnovers. That's serious. Certain guys that got waived are struggling. But no turnovers.
Even the key one. Now you're just reminding me about the assist. He was the first player to have, in his NBA finals debut, to have 3 games, 3 games of 10 assists or more, and then was the second player after Magic Johnson to have 3 straight games with 10 plus assists in the finals. In his first NBA finals, and even in his last,
been done before. Wow.
No, first 4 games,
Okay.
first 4 games, and then in his 5th game he got 8, so he would have continued it.
Yeah, so it's just like the Denver Nuggets showed why they are forced to reckon with. They showed why they're dominant. They showed why they was the first seed. They showed why they're the best team in the league. And now, if you want the ring, you got to go through them.
Before we move on, though, boys,
Not even quickly. We then now have to speak about their opponents.
No, but before we wanted to speak about the opponents, I just wanted to ask, where do you see this Denver Nuggets team going? Are they as dominant as what I said? And secondly, will they go back to back? 2 questions in one. Let's fire away.
Hello, hi.
You know reverse?
I think the Denver Nuggets have basically built their dynasty now. So they've planted themselves where they're just going to be dominant. Personally, I see them going back to back. I see them going again. Because there's only one team that would have said that would have made. Only one team that could even try and stop these guys. They got clipped in the first round. So, and where I see them going, literally, I think.
Who? Us?
No, Bucks.
Okay.
I think you do.
The Bucks. But I think how they're gonna move now, where they're gonna kind of build the team they're gonna build around. They're gonna keep improving, getting better. They're gonna pay these guys luxury tax. They don't care, and they're just gonna continue to really evolve this dynasty and just keep it going for as long as possible.
I agree with you. I think I agree with you to some extent. I think you're right in terms of Denver. I think Denver will come out of the West for the next couple of years because they've got Jokic tied up in a 4 or 5 year deal left now. Like he's going to be there he'll be there for his whole career. If there's a person who doesn't care about cold weather, it's someone from Serbia. Like don't 100%. Give a damn. That's minor to him. He's not going to be bothered, isn't it? Huh?
I said on guard.
Like honestly, Jamal Murray from Canada, I don't think he cares that much either.
Yeah.
And why would Murray's the only person on that team right now who isn't tied up in, or of that key core anyway, that isn't tied up, and he's eligible for an extension this summer. If he doesn't do it, he can get a bigger contract next year. But I feel like he'll be like, for the sake of the fact that he'll probably easily get 35, 40 mil plus a year for the next however many, to a 5-year extension. I don't think he cares that much about the money. He'll just be happy to be able to bring this whole team back. I'm sure he'd take a little discount to make sure that everyone else on the team can come back. Gordon's tied in for, I think, another 2 years or another 1 year anyway.
So, 2 years.
It's a couple more.
He's in. I think the only kind of thing they need to start looking at is guys like Jeff and KCP as they get a little bit older.
Yeah.
You know, if they start looking that they're not able to continue playing at the rate they are, they need to start looking at the draft maybe. And I know they made a trade with OKC.
Yeah.
But they traded away their 24... No, they traded away their like 2029 pick and something else for OKC's 2024 pick. I don't know if it's OKC's pick or someone else's pick. Probably someone else's pick.
Yeah, definitely someone else's. Yeah.
But I'm assuming they're doing that in foresight of like, we're going to try and keep our core together. If we understand we're going to be good for a while and we want to keep improving the team, if they're going to be in the luxury tax, they're not going to be able to be signing big free agents. Maybe they're going to have to start keeping, like, you know how Golden State for a few years, once they had their key core sorted out,
it was
they were
just,
like, we're just going to get these guys late in the first and second rounds and just make sure we're doing their scouting. I think Denver are going to have that kind of approach to it as well. I see no reason why they couldn't. I would say, though, the East is where like their true competition is. I think they're going to be the best team in the West. Because outside of them, well, who finished second this year? Memphis.
Grizzlies, yeah.
Memphis, right? I don't see... Memphis are not in the same category as Denver right now. Sacramento as well. Even though Sacramento were really, really good this year, will they be able to do it again? They need to improve in some positions as well. Yeah. Whereas Denver can bring back the same team and I think they'll still be as good. The Lakers, they have a lot of questions to answer. They don't know who their starting point guard is going to be next year. There's going to be a situation where Denver are going to have continuity. I don't really see them letting go of too many guys who are important to this team. I think the young guys like Christian Brown is going to get better. So they have no real reason to change up the roster, do they? That builds chemistry. They're going to get to run it back again next year. So I think they'll definitely at least get one more ring, but their only real true competition is out in the East, man. And it could be Milwaukee, it could be Boston. We don't know what other moves are going to get made in the East as well, but I don't see anyone in the West. Unless the Lakers get Kyrie, I don't really see someone else in the West troubling them too much.
That's true.
Yeah, definitely. Murray and Gordon. Murray's tied in for 2 more years. Gordon's tied in for 3 more years. Michael Porter is on his rookie extension.
Yeah, so he's good.
And Jokic is tied up for like eternity. So it all does depend on, for me, how long they keep Jamal Murray. I think when you look at the way the roster's constructed, it's modern basketball. You've got a big forward, incredibly creative, incredibly talented, one of the best players in the world. You've got a phenomenal scorer next to him. You've got shooting all over the team. You've got size all over the team. Do I think though that they're so good that no one else can compete with them? I don't know. And things change so quickly in basketball. I can see the Suns coming back, retooling slightly, coming up with sets that maximize KD and Devin Booker, and then being a different team from what we saw in this postseason. Because they had, how many games did they have with each other really?
Aiton's going to be gone out of that team.
100%. Do you know what I mean? And then you can look at, I think the Grizzlies will actually take another jump, to be honest.
How?
In my opinion, I think they've started to recognize where they excel, the areas that they excel. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is phenomenal, and I think he's quite understated in terms of his influence. I wouldn't sleep on them. Basically, I don't think the Nuggets are a team that it's like, there's no rival for you. Like when I watched Golden State with Kevin Durant, I was like, there's no rival, there's no point. Until this thing breaks up, like...
We're going to see them in the finals every year.
But I could see a well-coached team with a superstar or two and some solid role players going blow for blow with the Nuggets. And it's like, maybe the Nuggets could beat them in 7 on some nights. Maybe they'll beat the Nuggets in 7 on some nights. So I wouldn't say this is a guaranteed dynasty. I think there'll definitely be some deep playoff runs for the next 2-3 years minimum. And health aside, that's how I see it for them. So it's a bit more fancy, but I can see 1 or 2 teams figuring it out and taking them.
Yeah, I think my point on the Nuggets, I think they're a team that are built at the minute to be very, very, very dominant in the West. I think with the way that they played this off-season, I do agree with what you said. I think the Clippers are a big threat. I still believe it was them and the Clippers in the West for me. The Clippers are built well if they can stay healthy. I really rate the Clippers team. I think the Suns could do something if they retool. I think the Lakers, maybe, if they retool well. What other team? That's really about it. I think Golden State are kind of, nah. And then the rest of them are just figuring it out. I think Timberwolves, sorry, there's no one else. The Nuggets might have it. And like I agree with the East. The East is the bigger issue. Obviously, the Bucks, to me, are still the most dominant team in the East once fully fit, healthy playing. Boston are still a big problem. Philadelphia, absolutely not. And I think, to me, I see them in like the next 5 seasons, at least 3 or 4 Western Conference finals, the odd shock second round exit, and then possibly a couple NBA finals within that. So I believe the next 5 years, they will probably be champions again, maybe twice, but I think they are the bar in the West. They are the bar in the NBA, obviously they're the champs, but in the West, by far, there is a little bit of a gap, but the teams need to close it.
Is this podcast sponsored by the Clippers? What's going on?
No, I don't like the Clippers. I hate the Clippers highly, but I do rate their roster if healthy. If healthy, they have got a roster that
The core of this roster has been around for like 4 or 5 years now.
I know, but they're just never healthy.
And they've not done anything to prove or to validate your beliefs. After a while, do you not call a spade a spade?
But they're just unfit. I think if they're rubbish to me because they can never be healthy.
Let me ask a question. Sorry, Rodney.
No, it's good.
Outside, because there was one time where I saw us not be good. Actively not be good.
And that's like in your life, by the way. That's not recently. That's in like the entirety of their existence.
No, I'm saying since Kawhi and PG have been in this team, I've seen one year in the playoffs where I was like, no, we're playing us, and that was the bubble. But outside of that, our troubles, and I don't want to make this Clippers segment because we're not important. But outside of that 1 year, you can't tell me that the reason we didn't succeed was anything other than injuries. And
that's
even
valid.
me. I don't even think we're gonna. I think this is us now. I think we're just gonna be injury ridden. I don't think we'll ever have another playoff series again where both of them are
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's my thing. I feel like you're a what if team.
Yeah, that's it.
That's why I don't. Maybe eventually it'll turn around, but again, I don't agree. One team, I know this is people may not be sure about this, but again, young team coming up could be a difference. OKC. I want to see what OKC do next year. I'll be excited for it. If they finally give up on tanking. Because I think they have the pieces that like they almost made playoffs this year. I think they could cause some upsets.
I think with OKC, I like that point that you're making. They need to get rid of some of those draft picks though. Like if they could put some draft picks together to get a player, then we're having a different conversation. But I think until then, like because
they're at catalyst point in my opinion. You know, there's that point where it's like, you trade 1 or 2 picks, all of a sudden you get an older guy in. And then Chet's coming back from injury. You've got another high draft pick this year. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, whoa, you know.
Because they're going to continue to get mid and late lottery picks, but I don't know how many of the draft picks they have are ever going to turn into a top 3 or 5 pick, which is where you get those like truly generational type talents. Like you've got in this draft, and then you have in pretty much every draft. If they draft well, they got Giddy, you know,
except for 2019
with who? You talking about RJ?
And Zion.
Yeah, I guess in it, but like you look at other guys in that draft. In that draft, Garland was there at 5, like another great player. Hero was a later round pick. Like if they can find players like that, then fine, innit? It's just if you want surefire home runs, you know you got to get them early.
I agree.
So, Miami, exactly.
Yes. Here we are.
So,
all right, no, get the thing out. You how excited he is. Get the camera out.
Because the hater in me, the hater in me is.
Here we flipping.
Because listen. I was wrong about Miami until I was right. I was wrong about Miami until I was right.
But they got to the finals.
100%. And I can't.
Injury-ridden team.
Injury-ridden is a bit extreme, isn't it? But like,
their main shot creator.
Their what?
Main shot creator.
Okay, but it's not their best player. So,
one of.
How many times you say one of? Is he 2 or 3?
These 2.
Okay. So, again with Miami, listen, I think you guys did a great job of, producing when was needed and you got yourselves to the finals. But when you got to the finals, you showed your asses. And I think Luke was getting on to me because I said I didn't understand how they were going to score 100 points without Tyler Hero. Every game they lost, they didn't score 100 points, We're talking about the the 30th ranked offense in the league.
Yeah.
So listen, you did a great job getting there. Caleb Martin deserves some money. Gabe Vincent deserves some money. I hope you guys are the ones to pay him.
A lot of money.
It's true. Yeah, loads of money, bro. The way Caleb Martin was playing in some of those games, he might deserve a max contract.
Yeah, bring the oil truck or whatever. As I said,
They're gonna have to pay these boys out. I think Miami have shown that they're a great organization. They run very well and all that stuff. Jimmy showed me who Jimmy really is. A fraudster. Jimmy is a fraudster. And I need to get on to Rodney because Jimmy G buckets. Jimmy G this. Himmy Butler. Let me tell you something about Himmy Butler, Rodney. He was mid.
It's Himothy, actually.
Himothy, which is even worse if we're being honest. Himothy Butler was mid. Jimmy Arse Cheeks. Jimmy Butt
Don't
Cheeks.
say arse
Jimmy
cheeks.
Arsler.
Don't know.
No,
That's
bro,
a stretch. That's a
I'm
stretch.
speaking facts on
That's
the situation.
a stretch, man.
Bro,
You can't say arse
Bro,
cheeks.
Jimmy round one, great. He did what Jimmy was doing in the bubble. And it was like, oh, Jimmy in the playoffs, top 10 all-time player. Da-da-da-da-da. What did Jimmy do after that? I said to you, yeah, I remember sitting here saying to you, Rodney, Jimmy's looking a bit tired, you know. Jimmy's not doing what he was doing at first. Every single series, he got worse and worse and worse, bro. Until he showed up in the finals and it was just us. He was Jimmy Midler. He was who he really is. And I think Rodney, this all comes back to the point that I've been saying about this bagless guy. This bagless star. Jimmy, who is not a superstar. And there's nothing wrong with that, bro. It's okay owning it. And everyone's like to me, oh, well, the Heat are going to look different if they get Damian Lillard. Yeah, when Jimmy's not the best player on the team, they'll look very different, 100%. The Heat got as far as they did because their role players stepped up and played out of their mind. Some of them are averaging 10 points more than they were in the regular season and the postseason. Do you know how crazy that is? 10 whole points more.
That is correct.
Bro, you don't see that. They were abnormal. And when they went back to who they were in the regular season, in the finals, and they needed Jimmy to be first round Jimmy, he used up all of the MJ secret stuff, bro. He had nothing left.
I saw one tweet. I was like, I see why MJ disowned this nigga.
Bro, look, Rodney, the thing is, I feel like I would get onto Jimmy anyway because you know I don't like him, innit? But I'm getting onto him even worse because people were swearing to me that Jimmy was better than other players, certain players in this league. I remember having a conversation in the group chat about how they would rather have Jimmy Butler than Kawhi Leonard. You can still do that. You can still say that if you want. But both of them got zero. No, not even both of them, sorry. These men were saying that to you. These men were saying it because Kawhi's injured all the time. They would rather have Jimmy. How many rings has Jimmy got?
Okay, wait.
How many rings has Jimmy got? What's Jimmy done, bro? Tell me what Jimmy's done. Because everyone's going to say to me he's got finals appearances and stuff. So far, he's had one good finals appearance out of two. Jimmy averaged one more point than Jason Tatum in the playoffs, you know?
Okay.
But Jason Tatum was getting slaughtered, wasn't he? Jason Tatum was, this is one of some of the...
That's not a good argument.
What do you mean that's not a good argument?
That's not a good argument.
Why is that not a good argument?
Because Jason Tatum's a phenomenal player, so he just basically said that Jimmy performed a bit better than him. Even though Jason Tatum underperformed,
no.
he still performed better than him.
Because it was being acknowledged that Jason Tatum was underperforming. What were they saying about Jimmy? Jimmy was great. Jimmy was this. Jimmy was that. I'm not saying they're on the same level, but the same way that people are getting onto Jason Tatum for underperforming, there was the energy wasn't there for Jimmy Butler now that he returned back to regular Jimmy, was it? I haven't heard anyone saying, really, all the people that were giving him their head before, shaking his hand and that, going crazy for him before, you guys have been mad quiet recently.
But also you... Jimmy over Kawhi Leonard.
Wait. We can explain this. I can explain
please.
this.
Wait.
He wasn't the only one as well. He wasn't the only one.
No, but why were you one?
No. Before we start, I thought you said someone on Twitter said
hanging
that.
around Rodney.
No, it was him and two. Luke was on him as well. This was you man got gassed. You man got gassed off what you saw in round one.
You think because you're hanging out with your friends and we weren't there that you'll get away with this?
I've told you your Twitter friends are pissing me off because you get some mad things off your Twitter friends.
Please tell me you were on at least 3 of these.
Sober.
Okay.
It's early morning.
Okay, first of all, Cameron, this is you're moving like the media. You're missing things out. Bro.
What am I missing out? Tell me what I'm missing out.
Because I definitely said that Kawhi has more skill, better player, all these things.
But
I said it's purely availability. Okay. In the past 4 years since
Yeah.
Jimmy's been at the Heat and since Kawhi's been at the Clippers.
Yeah.
Jimmy has done more with the Heat than Kawhi has with the Clippers, and that's pure.
They've both had no
facts.
rings in the last 4 years.
But I'm saying
They've both had no rings in the last 4 years.
okay. Listen.
When did we start doing this? When did we start applauding guys for making?
No, but I'm saying okay,
Does LeBron not get slaughtered for
Bro!
Yeah, but we
making
know
finals
that,
and
that's
losing?
wrong though.
bro.
Of course it's wrong. But my point is that there's no continuity throughout any of
I'm
this.
saying I said purely in terms of appearance. Kawhi's not around. They're not around no more. He's not around no more. And who's that because of himself? He wasn't there. But Jimmy has been there. He's available. That's the only reason why I said in terms of availability, more time you're going to take Jimmy. Because what's the point in having Kawhi? You get to the postseason, him gone. What happened? Did he go for milk and not come back? Because that's what it seems like.
That's
He's
what
not
happened.
around.
I'm not
He's
gonna
not
lie,
around.
yeah.
He's not around.
Kawhi
I know he's not
was
around.
load
Exactly.
managing in the playoffs, which is a bit mad.
100%.
But if
And
he's
I think personally, he was saving them knees for DLT Malta.
listen, that's what I'm saying. He went around.
Okay.
He went around. So what's the point of taking? Yes, he's a skill, high caliber player, but he's never there for the postseason or one game.
Let me ask you a
What's
question.
the point?
Let me ask you a question.
What's the
If the
point?
outcome's the same, does it matter?
No, but the thing is, I'm not gonna lie.
Is around an arse better than not around at all?
No. Giving your team a chance. Come on, man.
No.
Giving your team a chance.
So you answer my question. Is around an arse better than not being around at all?
Giving your team a
Soji,
chance
please
because he
answer
made
my
the
question.
finals.
But he's
made the
given
finals
his team
twice.
a
He's given his
chance
team
to win the chip
Which is
twice.
which is better
Yeah.
than
times.
taking millions from the
Free.
organization and not giving your team a chance. So in terms, what Rodney you're arguing makes sense in the context. Cam, please your retorts.
My only thing is that if this playoff run you would say that Jimmy is the sole player, like the whole reason that they got as far as they did, I'll be like 100%. But the point I made was that the role players were playing out of their mind. We spoke about this on the way here as well. There were times in that Celtic series specifically, Game 7 even, Caleb Martin, in my opinion, was the reason they won that game. Because Jimmy might have closed. But Jimmy didn't have a great game to start the game anyway. He got hot later in the game and closed when they needed to, which is super important. Crazy important, and that's what star players do. But Caleb Martin was the one hitting the shots when the game was closer, Caleb Martin was the one that allowed the Heat to have the lead that they had. Because when the Celtics started to build momentum, Caleb Martin started hitting spin, turnaround, spin fades, all kinds of madness coming out of that, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So, if the role players were playing how they normally played and Jimmy did a madness, fair enough. Then I'd 100%. But I said to you, round 1 Jimmy was great. Next series, you said he was hurt and he missed game, and I said he wasn't looking the same, and he just slowly started to decline as the different series went on.
Yeah. Also, obviously, I know he's not going to admit it, and neither did Eric Spoelstra. Said that he doesn't even want to say it. Like the ankle injury, there's no excuses.
Oh, come on.
And like I say, if you're on the court, there are no excuses.
100%.
But it's simple. I'll hold my hands up. Jimmy Butler in the finals, he ran into a brick wall. He was drained. He was tired. On top of that, there was tons of bodies that were being thrown at him. Like first of all, he was mainly being defended by Aaron Gordon. Most of the times, majority of the times, Aaron Gordon.
Because the Nuggets identified when Jimmy can't post up the player, he's not doing a great deal.
So and then obviously now the fatigue. Obviously, if that kicks in with Aaron Gordon, even if he got switched on Jamal Murray, he was good enough, has the frame enough to try and still hold his own. But yes, Jimmy got tired, and obviously, okay, in terms of this bag thing, all right, cool. So I understand where you're coming from, just because of he's getting tired. The way Jimmy gets buckets is very hard-working buckets. So if you're now continuously doing this, especially against a guy that's taller, he's got a good strong frame in Aaron Gordon, it's going to be a lot. Obviously, this is where you then get into your jump shot bag, mid-range sort of thing. And it's not to say that he doesn't have it, because he does. I just don't know why it wasn't coming out. That's the thing. That one there was a bit flabbergasting to me, 100%. I can hold my hands up and say this. But
let me get some stats out.
Yeah,
'cause I know,
some stats.
you know, I love my stats. So obviously, Jimmy Butler averaged 26.9 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 5.9 assists in 22 games in the 2023 playoffs.
And so there was more points than Jamal Murray. Because Jemima was 26.1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
And
that's still mid, right?
That's correct. He shot 46.8 from the field.
Add context. Keep going.
And he shot 35.9% from the free.
Mm-hmm.
How much from the field, sorry?
46.8. He averaged 1.8
46.
steals per game and 0.6 blocks. I will now go through his stats round by round. So against Milwaukee, he averaged 37.6 points.
That adds a lot of context, doesn't it? That adds a lot of context, doesn't it?
Wait. So
That adds a lot of context,
6.0 rebounds, 4.8 assists.
Mm-hmm.
He shot 59.7% from the field, 44.4% from the three.
Crazy.
In round 2 against New York, he averaged 24.6 points. That was on six assists, 7.2 rebounds.
That's good.
And he shot 43.2% from the field, shooting 11% from the free. That was terrible for him. And then going into the Celtics, he averaged 24.7 points,
Jimmy
7.6 rebounds, 6.1 assists in the 7 games against the Celtics. And in the NBA Finals,
What was the
field goal
percentage
percentage?
for that one? Sorry.
let me get the percentages.
Don't go anywhere.
I'm over
Just
here.
need it for my argument, sorry.
So percentages that he averaged 42% from the field and 34.8% from the three.
It's alright.
It's not good.
It's alright.
And he also averaged 2.6 steals per game in that
good.
series.
That's good. That's good.
He had them in a.
Yeah.
He had Jaylen Brown in a
all.
chokehold, boy.
Defensive is killing him.
And so now he goes to the finals. 21.6 points, 6.4 assists, 4.6 rebounds. He shot 41% from the field and 36.8% from the three. And then he also averaged 0.8 steals and 0.6 blocks. So his steals did drop tremendously from the previous round. I know everyone's got a lot to say, but what I have to still say about Butler whilst I'm on it, before I pass the mic across, he was excellent in the postseason, but obviously what we've seen is someone in Butler. Firstly, Cam's point is clearly correct, he tired, but he is not someone at age 34 that you can go into the NBA Finals as your number one superstar. This is what we need to understand. He was excellent during the playoffs, and I think Miami have maximized the ceiling of this team, but the finals, he wasn't excellent. He didn't do well enough. He couldn't lead the team in a way that a superstar could lead the team in the finals.
I understand, but end of the day, to win, it's not just one, it's two at least. And I said from before, Bam's not the guy to be the number 2 option.
No.
Wait!
Bam was better than Jimmy in the finals.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but I just said in general that for me, Bam is number 2. Okay, if he's the number 3 and he's still doing what he's doing, that's great. We have to see with these teams, like especially with the Denver Nuggets. With the Denver Nuggets,
Bam stats quickly whilst we on this.
yeah, go ahead.
21.8 points, 12.4 rebounds, 3.2 assists. He shot
playoffs or
Just the finals.
just the finals. He shot 45% from the field and didn't take any 3-point shots.
But
That's a smart man.
see, but the thing is, I'm saying like either way, it wasn't always going to be an uphill battle for Jimmy, anyways.
Why?
I mean, look, it's going to take like what we have to understand is with Murray and Jokic, that's a serious 1 and 2. Even if like Murray was being contained to some extent, Jokic was still there. Like Jokic was everything was basically running through him, and then Murray was just whatever he has to do, pick the pieces, all that stuff. He was a great number 2, as you can see everything. But now with Jimmy, you needed your number 2. Tyler Hero was obviously missed 100% because the thing is they were missing shots 100%. There was a lot of times where they had good looks, they was missing shots. But we can see from Miami that the issue was shot creation. Creating your own shot was a big problem. Tyler Hero, I'm not saying he is the pure solution, but he adds and contributes to that solution. He's going to create his own shot. And he's going to shoot from the free as well. Because I can see with Jokic, yes, he got his points inside. But then at the perimeter, he was still getting his points there as well. So it was a threat. Whereas with Bam, it was post, mid-range, cool. Stepping up to the free line, there was nothing there. Jimmy himself as well, there wasn't as much there either. You needed a 2 as well. And obviously, like I say, the role players were arse cheeks. Max Strus, showed why he's a criminal. 0 points, I think, 2 or 3 times in the finals? Come on. Someone that's your starter is 0 points. What do you expect? Go true.
So, I don't completely disagree with you, but I think this is what separates superstars, stars, all-stars, and then role players, isn't it? I think that's just what it is, though. Your role players, are guys you hope can do what they do in the regular season, in the postseason, and if they do, they've done their job. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily expect them to be going out of their way above what they do in the regular season. That's why they're called role players. But your stars and superstars have to always do better than they do in the regular season. Otherwise, there's nothing crazy going on there.
But still, you need a combination of both anyway.
No, but
like
this all ties into the point that I've been saying, and I don't think you'll disagree, that Jimmy is not good enough to be a number 1 because he needs a 2 and a 3 to be consistently. You're telling me, that for him to be a number 1, he needs 2 all-star star fringe players next to him, right?
Yeah.
So he's a star. He has to be a star as well. Then you can't be a superstar and need 2 stars next to you.
No, but it's just one thing where it's like, because end of the day, like I say, look at who the Denver Nuggets had, and look at the way the thing is, look at the way even the role players were playing, and look at Miami's role players. Comparing that alone, come on, from the 2 Browns to Gordon to KCP.
So I look, Aaron Gordon played worse in the playoffs than he did in the regular season. You understand that? Like, Denver's role players did what they did in the regular season. They didn't go above and beyond that. Maybe Christian Brown and Bruce Brown might have.
Bruce Brown, yeah. And you saying Aaron
no, I checked.
Season averages, yeah.
Compared to regular season averages, they were either there or slightly below. I need to look at the other 2. I'm not 100% certain. I imagine Christian Brown would, because I know he didn't play as much. But I just feel like this is what separates role players, all-stars, stars, and superstars. It's about your consistency and what's expected of you, innit?
But at the end of the day, it's a team. Like I say, by yourself, you might be able to.
Of course, we're not talking about by yourself, though, innit?
It's a team, but like I say, like either it was gonna be a Mazzoline for Jimmy. It was gonna, no matter what, it was gonna be Mazzoline. First of all, it was uphill battle from the start with the injuries, and the 2 injuries as well. There are 2 people who can create their own shot and can score.
Okay.
That alone already, 2 men, and Barn also, remember as well that one of them is also a very good defender as well.
Yep.
So you've lost an important 2-way. You've lost one of the top shot creators in your team. Mm-hmm. That's already a Mazzoline.
Okay, no, like this isn't really like a. I'm really not hating on Miami when you say this, innit? Yeah, Miami got as far as they did without those guys, because both of them were hurt in the first round, right?
Yeah,
they got as far as they did in the first round. I just really have to, like, yes, Denver were far better than Miami. I don't think that's a question in near enough every category. Like, I think, but even Miami would admit that they didn't show up in certain places. Yeah. Their whole identity is them being workhorses. They work super hard on every possession, and you saw that in game 2.
Yeah,
the game 2 they won. They were playing a completely different type of game. They were outworking Denver on multiple occasions. And Matt Malone came out in game 1 and said that they were outworking us as well, and we can't let that happen. Defense as well. The same defense they were playing against the Celtics, they couldn't even play that against.
It wasn't going to work. It was too much. It was too much. There was too much height there. It was just.
Soji, I know you want to go, so you go. Because I know you want to say something before.
He's enjoying that Magnum.
He's enjoying it. I got to go after you, innit? So
I appreciate that. Yeah. So, I've just been, as you lot have been going back and forth, I've been sipping my Magnum and contemplating this very
Magnum,
very in-depth, complicated scenario. And for me personally, I'm not gonna lie, Cam, you've made some valid points, but the tone in which you made the points is what's confusing everyone.
Cool, bro.
Jimmy Butler is not a top 10 player in the world, so it is hard to call him a superstar. I agree. He is very clearly, though, a guy that is expected and with the responsibility of a superstar with, to be honest, very, like, almost like low star level talent if you think about his actual game. Yes, he's 6'7", is quite big, quite strong, but his mid-range game, the numbers are not phenomenal. The shooting capability is not phenomenal, but he takes advantage, uses his intelligence, his awareness, his physical attributes, and he produces on a regular basis. Maybe it's not as efficient as some people would like, or as flashy as some people would like, but God damn it, he knows the intangibles of basketball, and he produces and impacts winning everywhere he goes. From when he left Chicago and he went to the Timberwolves, the highest seed that they've ever had in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
When the Timberwolves to the Sixers, the most likely they were to get out the second round, right? It was down to one shot. You come back now to Heat. This is now the second time he's made the Eastern Conference Finals as the best player on his team. And there are other superstars who have failed to even reach that amount. But for some reason, you're using this as a stick to beat Jimmy with. This should be a celebration of everything the Heat have done this season. This season is outrageous. From a team that barely made the 8th seed and ended up having to fight their way through the play-in, taking out the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks, who a lot of people tipped to be champions. They thought Giannis was going to run it back. Had Giannis trying to explain what failure was to news reporters. Then went and chopped off, the New York Knicks, you know what I'm saying? One of the strongest team in the East. Don't worry. And then going on to top off the Celtics, who, again, another team.
Pause. You know that one as well.
Another team who people really thought were likely to take home the chip. I mean, they took out 2 of the big 3 in the East, and the 2 better teams of the big 3 in the East that people thought would wash Denver. Obviously, a lot of credit goes to the role players. A lot of credit goes to Gabe Vincent, goes to Max Strus, and to, oh my God, Caleb Martin. Bro, I didn't know what I was watching. A lot of credit goes to Kevin Love. And personally, probably the most credit goes to Eric Spoelstra. Because the system that Miami had won them games. The guys came out and they were having games and where they were shooting 40% from 3, almost 50% from 3, especially against the Celtics. The shooting was outrageous, and against the Bucks as well. And we can respect that. Some of that may be a bit of an anomaly. Some of that is just like schemes and good shots and just having that dog. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But there is at no point we should be looking at the Miami Heat at this Eastern Conference Finals run and this loss to Denver, which lots of great teams lost to Denver as a disappointment, as an opportunity for us to discredit them. From my perspective, what Miami has done is incredibly commendable. It's an ode to how team basketball is important, intangibles are important, understanding your role, buying into your role, committing to it. And Jimmy is the face of that. He's the head honcho in that office. At the end of the day, when they all come in and they show up, it's his lead that they take. And while the numbers may not have been as pretty, you know what I'm saying, we've commended players along the years for maybe not having the numbers but making it happen. Because it's about, at the end of the day, it's about making it happen. It's about the number at the final whistle. And they fell short in the finals, but I'm going to be so honest, they shouldn't have been there. They should not have been there. And I know that sounds like a cop-out now because they lost and everyone's excited. Let's get Jimmy now. But for me, this season was a W for the Heat. I do agree with you that ideally Jimmy shouldn't be your number 1 star. Not out of weakness of his own, but just out of respect for there are guys that are better than him. Guys significantly more skilled, significantly more talented, and with also better supporting cast. That you said the Heat was the 30th offense in the league this season.
I got to chip into what you're saying and just land, because I think you've made some relevant points. Like what I was going to go into was just some bits about Miami and what they did this year. They're the second team in NBA history to reach the finals as an 8th seed. They're the first team to reach the finals from the play-in. They were even the first team from the play-in to win a series, let alone get to the finals. They reached the finals despite being underdogs in their first 3 playoff series. And this Miami Heat team have not only been led by, Butler and Spo, but Pat Riley has really, you have not given him credit for 7 undrafted players. 7 undrafted players. And they're in the NBA finals. I've never seen this in my life. In my life. 7. And it's not like the 7 are doing nothing and they're just taking up, the ones at the minutes. We're talking the 7, or at least 5 out of the 7, were playing big minutes, big roles. Yeah. Everything during this playoff run was down to that. And that is insane scouting. Spo, insane coaching. The culture they've got there, it's ridiculous. Like, it's one of the best cultures you've got that haven't won since LeBron was there. And you're talking 3 Eastern Conference Finals in the last 4 years. The only time they didn't make it was the shortest off-season in NBA history, and 2 NBA Finals. I agree with Soji on the Jimmy Butler thing. He is here to be celebrated, and it's not a knock to say what Cam said, is that he slowed down. I think Jimmy Butler needs. He's almost like I would almost say AD-ish player. Like, he needs to be a 1A or 1B. He's a 1B to me, and he's a 1A. Mm-hmm. I don't think he is necessarily. I think he's a playoff superstar. I think he's a regular season star. Playoffs, he elevates it. Playoffs, you can't name me in the last 4 to 5 years 9 players that have been consistently better than Jimmy in every year. Every year, we can name about 5 or 6. No, look, guys, listen to my point, because Cam's face is moving mad. But I think in the playoffs, I think he's a superstar, and I think you can't name me since he came to Miami 9 players that have been in every single year, barring obviously the year they didn't make it to the 3 out of the 3 years that they've got to the conference finals or the NBA finals. 9 players in each year that have been better than him. And I'm talking in their playoffs, each playoffs that have been better than him. He's a superstar in the playoffs. In each playoffs, if you guys can name me 9 players that outperformed Butler, then that's what it says. But we can easily name 9 players that outperforming each season.
That's, to be fair, that is a point I haven't explored, looking focusing specifically on the playoffs for Jimmy. But I do think that this was a little bit of a group project. I've got a stat in front of me right now.
No, it is. And I'm not
Caleb
saying,
Martin, Eastern Conference Finals, because I'm going to give you the stats back.
Yeah, I like that shit.
Caleb Martin averaged 19.3 points per game, shooting a 60, 49, 88 split.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He almost went 60, 50, 90. Are you crazy?
Yeah, but I'm not taking anything away from them.
We watched the games.
Yeah.
The shots he was taking.
Difficult.
Pull up, freeze in transition.
Did you see the moves he was doing, bro?
Fade away, turn around, fade away. Ha, ha, ha. Bang. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. And I if we look at all the playoffs, and especially if we look at, like, the success of the players who are ranked 10 plus above, not too many of them have performed better than Jimmy in the playoffs. I think that's a very valid point. So you could call him a superstar
in the playoffs.
In that means, but then also I think when you look at the struggles of his numbers, etc. in the playoffs, I look and I go, you go to playoffs, you play better defenses, you play against better coaches, you play against better schemes, and I argue and I look at it and I go, some of the regular season superstars that we celebrate, I don't know if they're.
Yeah, you could even talk about.
I don't know if you put them in that situation, they're going to succeed.
Even our regular season MVP. Like he's someone that he is.
He ain't my MVP.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, look, we're talking about someone that is by far, in terms of level of skill, talent, in terms of actual talent, in terms of dominance, someone that clearly to me. And we're talking about Embiid. Some people say he's one of. I still believe he's obviously going to be up there with the best centers to play the game when he eventually retires. You won't really look at Butler and say he was the best one. He's not got an MVP. He's not one of the best players in his position to ever play the game. But what he does through hard grit and determination, rather than pure talent, is what I give the flowers for. Like the dedication that he puts towards trying to get it done and like being the dog, but it's also the culture and it's also the way they're coached, and obviously the role players steps up on a different level that I've not seen in NBA history. Like to average 10 more points than your regular season averages, and it's not like one guy. It was at least 4 that averaged nearly 10 points above
Cam
their
is not moved right
so
now. Cam is so not moved. Look at his face.
No, go on.
What you said about the group project thing, I think even now I'm even more disgusted, because how many people can you give credit to for one thing, right? Like you said, Pat Riley, you said Spo, you said Jimmy as well,
yeah,
and you're saying the role players, right?
Everybody, bro.
Okay.
But
So
you have to.
No, and that's perfectly fine. But then why is it that Jimmy is now being held as this?
Because he's the leader. He's the face of it. He is.
Is he?
When the ball is in play and the ball is on the court, Jimmy Butler's the leader.
So you just showed me a guy who averaged 60% something shooting in a playoff series, right? Which is crazy. So if he took more shots, he probably would have more points anyway, which is fine. You've also spoken about essentially a cult of a basketball team in the Miami Heat, yeah, who have the Godfather, a mafia leader himself, Pat Riley, and a great head coach. Yeah.
If I wasn't black, I'd slip my hair back like him.
100%. That's cold. But Jimmy's the face, right?
In the team, on the court, yes. When they're on the court, when it's go time, when they need him.
What is your problem with Jimmy so much? You can't just give him the flowers.
And Jimmy, more often than not, shows up when they lean in on him, and that's why they overcame Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, a way more talented team. That's why they overcame the Milwaukee Bucks, again, a way more talented team.
I could be ridiculous in agenda and say they overcame the Milwaukee Bucks because Giannis hurt his back. I could say they overcame the New York Knicks because they were a better team. Miami probably shouldn't have been an 8 seed anyway, but they underachieved in the regular season. I could say that they overcame Boston because Jason Tatum rolled his ankle in the first 2 seconds of the game. I could say all of those things, but I'm still giving. I haven't said that because I did just say it, but I didn't lead with that because I'm still giving Miami their credit. However, the same way that people were getting onto Golden State all those years, or because of certain things just fell in their lap, kind of thing, I could say the exact same thing about the Miami Heat. But it astonishes me the way that. Cause so when you guys talk about Jimmy in the playoffs, you're talking about every single year you're basically saying that Jimmy's been phenomenal in the playoffs, right? But in a lot since he's been in Miami is what you're saying. From the bubble onwards, you're saying that Jimmy's been
barring one season, yeah.
I think if you look at it, like, again,
could you get a stat for like the last
each year?
Because maybe I'm just not educated on this, innit? But
I think you got a bit more of a championship or bust mentality than some of your co-hosts on this panel.
No
today,
because I give credit to Tatum and he hasn't won a championship.
So why would you celebrate Tatum, who's pretty much achieved the same? In fact, has he even achieved more than Jimmy? He's made 1 finals. He's made 2 conference finals and lost them both. One of them he lost to Jimmy. In fact, 2 of them he lost to Jimmy, no? So why would you celebrate Tatum and not?
Because Tatum's like almost 10 years younger than Jimmy Butler. Tatum's almost 10 years younger.
But also, look at the teams that Tatum has played in.
Of course, let me land. Tatum's almost 10 years younger than Tatum's almost 10 years younger than Jimmy Butler, and yet in the regular season Tatum averaged 31, Jimmy averaged 23, I think. Like my problem is that people are giving credit to Jimmy for showing up for like a quarter of the time, and yes, it's the most important quarter, but imagine it's the same way I talk about the game as well. Jimmy in parts of the games, right, was very, very quiet, but in the fourth, when they need him to close, he's there to do it. But I just think it's mad that but people who are consistent throughout the whole year, including the playoffs, are just getting put to the side because a guy who averaged 23 points in the regular season but has 37 points in the first round of a playoff series is now considered like, you know.
I think we're impressed by Jimmy making more with less. From my perspective, that's what looks impressive to me.
Let me just finally round off because I know we need to move on.
Please. Yeah.
Round off with his stats over the last 4 seasons. But I know we do need to move on. So obviously this year we spoke about his averages. I'm just going to do points, rebounds, assists because of time's sake. Okay. So it is 26.9 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists. 2023 playoffs. Good. 2022 was 27.4 points, 7.4 rebounds, 4.6 assists. 2021 playoffs was 14.5 points, 7.5 assists, 7.5 rebounds, 7 assists. 2020 playoffs is 22.2 points, 6.5 rebounds, 6 assists. That's the 4 seasons of Jimmy. Final words, boys, before we move on.
I'm sorry, that's not astonishing. Like I really do feel like this whole thing has been blown out of proportion because if you guys are telling me that there's not 10 guys who have had 4 years worth of playoff series that can equal that or better, I'd be so surprised.
I haven't checked.
You know what? Yeah, just turn off. I think it's a thing where I understand Jimmy's being, obviously everything's being kind of like what Jimmy has done in the years that he's been at the Heat has been very impressive than what other guys have done. So I think that point alone is then that aspect of it is what everyone's kind of just pushing out there, that what he's done since he's come to the Heat has been amazing than what many other guys have done. But I think we also need to also factor in that there are guys who have, played well and have, but I think with guys just been more it's been more in spurts in a season here and there, where Jimmy's done it for more of a longevity standpoint. But I understand where you are coming from, where things are being kind of pushed out and the media's really pushing.
Be honest, the media made it sound like he was better than it was, right? Because in none of those, he hasn't. You're telling me he hasn't averaged 28 points in a single.
Yeah, so I think in
27
terms of,
points.
So
of course, and he does rebound and assist.
It's less of a numbers thing,
but
and more
his best playoff average
was 27.
Is LeBron's career average.
Yeah, so it's just one of the ones where
different spectrum.
It's not more of a stat certain point. So I think it's not more of a stats. It's more of what's been accomplished.
Jimmy's value is intangibles, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
But anyway, we gotta move on
Yeah,
from this point. So we're gonna have to kind of. It's gonna be tough. But the off season's already started getting worky.
worky.
Also, it started getting worky. So, shall I go?
We're talking about trades, or are we talking about personal life?
We do trades first.
Well, yeah, we'll go through trades first.
Very quickly.
Quickly. So, first one, Bradley Beal is working on the trade with the Wizards. He's the only player that has a no trade clause, so he gets to decide where he's basically going or what's he going for. So with this information being out, obviously there's been speculations of certain things. I've seen Heat fans give a lot of examples like Bradley Beal and Porzingis. I think they're giving away Hero, Lowry, and some picks or some sort. I don't think that's too bad, to be honest.
Heat fans think they're getting everyone. They're one of them teams that like has every single player in the world like edited in their jersey.
100%.
100%.
Yeah. So it was trade suggestions and such. So I don't know if the Wizards will let that fly. Maybe not. Probably not. Most likely not. But I think if that was to go through, it does fill certain gaps in terms of rebounding, height, scoring, because then you're going to have more options. But anyway, in terms of all this going on, where do you think would be a good place for Bradley Beal to land?
I think Miami shouldn't explore that. The amount of money he's on, number one, is insane. He signed that Supermax last year. He needs to rot in with Washington. Don't sign that and the next season after want to be doing this and that. We said it when he signed, that you've dug your own grave, bro. That you could have cut out free agent and gone somewhere. Stay there and suffer, because I don't want you to be running to my... Bro, stay clear of that guy, bro. I don't want that.
The only way I feel like Bradley Beal should be... will get picked, because he's not... Everyone knows he's not worth the money that he's currently being
basically
paid. So I feel like if Washington happen to trade him, they're not going to get anywhere near the value of play. Like if I was a team, like Dallas could probably use a Bradley Beal. If I'm Dallas, I'm lowballing like crazy. Like I'll give you Davis Bertans for him. Like there's no way you should benefit off this trade, because I'm taking on a $50 million a year player.
Yeah,
that's just ridiculous.
That's true.
I think that Bradley Beal should go to the Orlando Magic, because I hate that organization.
Damn, bro.
Either them or Minnesota. Utah as well. Yeah.
Send him there.
I just wish him to just curse somebody.
You don't deserve
J Huff type beat.
Tickets.
Yeah, we could all agree. Bradley Beal, he's like you said, there was no sympathy when he signed that deal, because he could have gone somewhere before then. But obviously, if you can secure the bag and have a no trade clause and somehow get yourself away from that, hey, a win is a win.
He's been injured a lot as well. I really don't think there's any value in that.
So
empty buckets.
Two teams that you think would make sense for Bradley Beal?
Dallas and Miami, but only if they can get him for free.
Okay. Soji?
And reduce his wage. But they can't.
Besides Orlando Magic?
I'm trying to think of an actual team that genuinely needs a guard, scorer, that
New York.
can't play defense
New York.
of size. I mean, yeah, he would add value. He'd probably add value at the Nets as well, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a few teams like that.
But New York would only be if we got rid of Randall, and then having a Brunson Beal backcourt just sounds like
zero defense.
Yeah.
A random one, but it's just random because why not, innit? Golden State could just do a whole blow up thing.
I wouldn't even want that if I was them, bro.
But it's just the money he's on. It's just not worth it. Stay in Washington and suffer.
Their teams are in luxury tax nowadays,
Yeah.
so they can't afford it.
Well, Bradley Beal's got some homework to do.
Might as well stay in Washington, innit? Very quickly.
Yes. So Kuzma is due to decline his player option, and he's going to become an unrestricted free agent. So thoughts, destinations.
It's not surprising if Bradley Beal's if the team are saying they're working with Bradley Beal to get him a trade if possible. It's not surprising that Kuzma don't want to stay, because while Kuzma like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hang around here in this, Also, he can get paid way more.
Way more.
His player option is 13 mil. On the market, he'll get at least 20 somewhere else. Could you imagine a Kuzma reunion back in LA?
I can see it. I won't be surprised.
You had your hand up.
No, for Kuzma, I would say, I mean, the problem with Kuzma, is Kuzma's responsibility in any kind of team would be to be a spark plug kind of guy. So
Which isn't bad,
but it's also like, if he's not making shots, he's useless. And I think he's expecting a payout because of a good season in Washington.
Is 20 a year a payout?
Yeah, it is.
It's not a payout
he shouldn't
anymore, man.
He shouldn't be 20 a year.
How much should Kuzma be on?
Do you want me to be for real? I think Kuzma needs to do what Marcus Morris did, where he balled out at the Knicks and he just took that vet minimum at the Clippers and was just like, I want to be a part
Marcus
of
Morris doesn't take no vet minimum.
What was he on with you?
We're paying him 16 mil a year for the last 4-year contract. Marcus Morris got paid, bro.
Okay, well, something less than that, ideally, or i.e. a KCP contract where it's 15 M's a year is what Kuzma should be getting, and he should understand that he's a supporting role within the team. Occasionally, you'll be asked to be a starter. Majority of the time, you're a spark plug off the bench. And the kind of teams that need scoring,
Miami.
I think the Timberwolves could use it.
That's not terrible.
I think Miami definitely could use it. I think the Hawks could
Atlanta,
use it.
I was gonna say that, man. I was gonna say that.
And then I think no, that wouldn't work.
Dallas again could use Kyle Kuzma. Dallas could use anyone who can
100%.
score.
I think he
100%.
should still get 20 million.
I think
we have
he
to
should.
understand that it's not like when he was with the Lakers when they won the chip, he was nothing. He was the certified third option. He was still doing what he needed to do. He was providing that third string support, and he played a very important role in that championship run. He did. So 100%, he should get paid. He should get paid. Now, how much is it? Like 20 years? I don't think 20 years a payout anymore. It's just the money's changed. Yesterday's price, not today's price. That's like that 20 mil a
Price of the
year.
brick going up.
If my team is playing Kuzma 20 mil, I'm pissed.
Let me
That's
just,
how I feel.
'cause I think he's 27 years old. I think it's harsh for him to be looking at anything barring getting the money now.
Yeah.
Because this is probably going to be his biggest paycheck and last high paycheck, you'd think. Someone of his caliber, he's not a generational kind of player where in his 30s he'll still be getting paid well. So I think he has to look at this within this declining option, then free agency, and get the best value option. I think he's an NBA champion. So he doesn't really need to go somewhere. Obviously, everyone wants to win, but I think money is probably more of a pressing need than having to go to a contender and taking less money.
Do you know what I think he could do? He could do a job at the Grizzlies.
I was going to say that.
He could play almost like a big small forward, power forward, like basically replace Dylan Brooks.
Basically.
Don't they need defense though? Or is that not a need anymore? I mean, they
I
have
mean,
JJJ.
They're just a sound defensive team, really.
Or if he just is a help defender.
That's not bad.
That's the team I was going to
I
say.
think they'll have the money. They'll have close to the money, if not the money.
They should. To me, I think they should be able to roughly get the 20 if he wants that. And I think he could probably go somewhere there where it's not like a perennial top tier contender, but someone that you could say if we get it right, we can be there or thereabouts.
That's a good try, actually.
And get money. The experienced kind of guy going in, possibly.
That's a Keegan Murray there. They got Keegan Murray.
Yeah, same position in it. Yeah,
they're good with Keegan
but
Murray.
as you can clearly see, there's teams much better fits than bloody Washington, and we all know that he can get more money elsewhere. He's got to go, and I think 20 is not bad, especially in this market. There's worse players getting paid a bit more than that. So.
But you know what? I can see him ending up at the Trailblazers if Dame stays, and they'll be like, oh yeah,
Something
he's your supporting star.
That's what Dame deserves.
Following on from that, obviously, I know there was things said about Dame. Do you guys really think this guy's gonna end up at the Heat, or is he gonna actually leave Portland this time?
We don't even know. He's full of gas. Like every summer, it's like this, isn't it? We're just thinking him and Beal every summer. It's embarrassing. Stay in suffer. You signed to.
If Dame somehow gets out of Portland, I don't see it going. I think Portland will send him to whatever team he wants to go. However, I don't see him going to a team without a crazy haulback as well. So, like, if he goes to Miami, they're going to want at least Tyler Hero, which I don't think Miami would be that upset about because they saw what life is like without him. Probably their whole draft history, as far back as they can go, pick swaps and just straight up picks. They'll probably need at least 3 or 4 of those as well. Because they've got this number 3 pick. They've got Anthony Simons as well. They're probably saying, well, you know, if we get enough picks back or something like that, we have a future going forward. But at the same time, like, I really do just think Dame's pump faking. I really don't, like... I think he's waiting for the team to say, Dame, it's time for you to make a move, as opposed to him saying, I've had enough here. I don't know what that's about. One move that wouldn't be crazy in Dame moving, but if Bradley Beal can get to Portland, they'll just continue the arsenalness of that they had with CJ as well. Because it'll be a very similar situation, innit? And that might be like, oh yeah, no, we're playoff contender. I don't think people, like, I really don't know what he thinks about, because he's not deep in how tough the rest of the league is right now.
Do you know what it is? He's just playing this loyalty card that, listen, I'm here. I'm sticking out with you guys. This is the kind of player that I am. You know, this is what he's showing. This is his brand, loyalty. So that's what it is. So like you said, that's right, where he's just sort of waiting for the team to say, listen, you've got to make a move. And honestly, you have been loyal. So wherever you want to go, we will make a move for you to go there. But
I don't think it's even the loyalty thing.
But it is because
it's got to be though.
The bondage is real.
I think he's just got a life there, and he's just comfortable with his life there.
But surely you want to win a ring
with his kids going to
Portland
school. I think he's confident. Like he's really got his hands and roots in the community. And I think it's one of those ones where it's like think about your job, right? And think about like having to move city for your job. And it sounds long.
It's not even just that. It's being the man at your job as well. Like
like
you're essentially the CEO at your job. Not even a CEO, because
you're just a very respected.
Bro, you're loved, innit? Like you can do whatever you want
Yeah.
every single day, and no one's gonna really chat shit to you. No one's gonna say nothing to you.
And like
and
home isn't too far away. Like Portland,
all decisions that company
Oakland ain't
makes,
that bad.
they're asking Dame, is it okay if we do this? Is it okay? I get that, but bro, brothers who don't cheat don't need to scream that they don't cheat all the time, innit? Like they don't say, oh, I'm loyal all the time. Like if you're loyal, just be loyal, innit? But I'm just tired of hearing him say all this stuff, and then go on podcasts and like make it a bit spicy
and spit tunes and say all this stuff. Don't be doing all of that. He's doing too much. I don't care. Nah, bun all this comfortable ras to ras. Bun all of that, man. Listen, he's saying it on tunes. He's saying it on podcasts. He's saying stuff, bro. He's on the teasing thing. Don't tease, just please.
Nah,
do you know
I would like to see him in another situation. As a
100%.
basketball fan,
We're tired.
I want to see Dame in the highest leverage moment.
End of the day,
I think he's really got it.
Because you have to understand, end of the day, I know he wants that Giannis ring where I was here, grinded, and we finally got there. But we have to understand, first of all,
It's fucking
Giannis,
important. That's the first.
And Giannis, the talent, obviously, they was able to string talent together, like actual helpful talent for him to be able to be there. They've been trying that with Portland, and it's just not working. So, bro, you gotta get out, man. You gotta leave. You gotta leave. Talking about other trade destinations. So, a certain madman. I wanna. I'm gonna call him the porn star pounder.
God damn.
what are we doing here?
Whoa. Okay, so they come just woke up. Like, whoa.
Just bare BBWs in the bedroom.
Man said porn star pounder. What?
Zion Williamson.
Come on.
Been going brazy out there.
Freaky Z.
It's baby father on the nose.
Baby mama drama and all that. So there was a report saying that he wants a new scenery, preferably in New York. I don't think he's talking about the Nets. So, preferably New York. What's you guys' thoughts on this in terms of obviously change of scenery and everything? Because with how his career has been in the league, missing time, injuries, being healthy, but deciding not to still, back your brethrens. What's going on here?
This man is the biggest draft disappointment since OJ Mayo.
Wow. 08 draft.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
That's deep,
No way. Anthony Bennett.
Zion has.
What year did Anthony Bennett?
2013. Anthony Bennett was.
Yeah, but
Jaleel Okafor.
Kwame Brown.
Jaleel was always questionable. Anthony
Marco
Bennett might be
Fultz.
more accurate. Anthony Bennett might be more
Okay.
accurate.
Very
Markel
far.
Fultz has built a decent career for himself, but Zion Williamson, bro, he can't stay healthy.
DeAndre Ayton. Sorry.
Ayton's got a good career. What do you mean?
He's got what?
He's got an alright career.
Of crying.
I think Zion's looking like. Look, has Zion even played one regular season worth of games in 3 years?
No.
No,
Ooh.
he hasn't.
Oh,
I think he's on 60. I think he's 60 for his career.
That's about what these guys are playing in one season nowadays, though.
Yeah, but that's abysmal.
Yeah, no, it's
in
disgusting.
3 seasons.
That's abysmal,
disgusting.
and it's crazy because he's exciting to watch when he plays. His team seems to be winning, but boy, listen,
something happened there. In
I don't know what's wrong with that draft, that 2019 draft.
David Griffin. That's what
Between
I'm gonna
him
say.
and Ja, listen, I know right now, in his grave, David Stern is rolling. The 2 upcoming stars of the NBA. One,
a thug.
Buns and guns, nigga. Guns and buns.
one, his boy's on IG Live for 5 minutes and he's getting pissed at his boy when he's bringing the gun out. The other one has got 4 women on the TL telling him, I thought you loved me.
It's only 3 now.
Oh, what, one retracted?
No, what Moran Mills. I think,
She's off the TL.
I think she got her Twitter taken away from her.
Listen, man. Hey, man. These young niggas got to understand they're being preyed upon.
Tyler Hero has an older baby mum as well, That don't get talked about. Tyler Hero has an older baby mum. He's still with her, so it's not wild and she ain't talking crazy. But it's the same thing. Melo Ball, same, not same draft, but same thing. It's a thing in this league right now. I don't know what's going on. These boys,
young boys need.
And do you know what's really
sermon,
interesting
bro.
about it? Do you know what's really interesting
get
about
off
it?
Pornhub
The
and
guy
relax,
who came into the league and everyone thought was going to be a bit of a troublemaker,
We'll see.
who actually seems to be incredibly grounded, is Anthony Edwards.
You know what? You're not wrong.
Because every off season I see him in matching Christmas PJs with his
babes,
family and his babes, and you can tell that the people who raised him were around him, and you know what I mean, like kind of guided him. Zion looks like, them ones where it's like...
No, wait, but John Morant went to private school, bro. He got raised well.
No, you think private school people are raised well?
Let me get a question for you, man. You can see it, innit? How many total games has Zion played? Bearing in mind he got drafted 2019. It's currently 2023, so we're going into the 23-24 season.
No. 19, 20,
years.
21, 2021, 21, 22, 22, 23. So yeah, four seasons been in
He's now going into his
total
5th
games.
NBA
I'm
season.
going to say 68.
No, in total games since
game.
I'm gonna say
Since he
68.
got drafted. And there was last year he didn't play a game. He didn't play one game, did he?
Let me see. And this is a
No,
total.
he did. This season just gone.
No, I'm saying about the last season.
Yeah,
Oh,
before
yeah,
that.
I don't think so, no.
So out of 4 seasons, he played 3
This is
seasons.
out of 400 games. Bearing in mind the season that was shortened to 72 games, so 400 games.
Can I say? Because can I ask if he didn't play in the out of 4 seasons? There's 1 season he didn't play at all, right?
Yeah.
Just the average. I'm seeing it, but out of 400 games.
Asking for bare clues. I already said my number.
Just
man.
say the
Stop
number.
cheating.
98.
You were close. He's played 114 games out of 400 available.
Yeah, I don't want to see him at the Knicks.
Why?
I don't want to see him at the
He
Knicks.
might miraculously get better, man.
Maybe he's not feeling at the Pelicans and he's just like, yeah, bun this because I can't lie. Change the scene.
Do you see how Tibbs runs plays into the ground?
That's
You
true,
think Zion will last a
Zion got
minute?
Chance, man.
Well, maybe that will happen. Maybe then he'll wake
You
up.
know what? Maybe that's what he needs so he can be at home and raise his children. How about that? Because something ain't right there, man.
But is it the city? Because like New Orleans,
I've never heard of anyone going to New Orleans and having this type of...
That's the point.
It's not a thing. Like,
There's no sauce there.
Yeah.
It's barely even flavored water, and he's drowning.
I'll be honest. He is in a position whereby, like, we know what happened before coming into the league with the whole shoe thing and all of that. He is.
He's on course to give Nick Cannon a run for his money.
Like, he's doing a mad thing off the court.
He's
like a lot of things.
The thing is, it also it can't be the city because he's flying women to the city.
And have you seen the text?
Yes. Yes,
I've seen it all. Like,
he's doing, excuse me, miss, would you please?
He's got manners. He's got manners.
You know, join me.
He said, "Yo,
in the bedroom."
If you girl, I just want to see ya.
He's moving much.
It's terrible, bro. I don't even know. Oh, God. Like, because this is getting aired out for everyone to see, and the fact that, like, I think Andrew Bogut was just saying,
as he sleeps. They're taking pictures of his back as he sleeps.
Andrew Bogut was just saying this is a common occurrence in the NBA with NBA players and stars, but
yeah, it got blown up.
This is, I think it's him as a player though. That's probably why. If he was playing, like if he was someone that I don't know had got his Pelicans to conference finals, has been
people
fit,
wouldn't care, innit?
would people care as much?
This is what you're doing when you're not playing. Especially rehabbing your knee and said you're beating porn stars. Like,
I never thought I would ever say this, but this man needs James Harden as a mentor.
For what?
To learn how to do it and not fall into it.
Yeah,
James Harden has conquered that scene.
I'll conquer it, bro.
Do you know how many strippers probably have his personal phone number?
And he's just not, like, it doesn't get aired out.
Then he'll come and drop 40 the next day.
Facts.
It's a bit mad.
If you're going to be about it, go to the best. There's mentors in this league.
That will teach you the right and the wrong.
Yeah, you understand? Go to Magic to learn how to not, to wrap up. And then go to the Hardens to learn, how to not get your business aired out. And then maybe you might have a best friend like Lil Baby.
Lil Baby?
That's the best we can hope for him now.
Zion's got a long way to go. I don't know what he's going to do, what's going to happen.
He doesn't deserve to be allowed to go to
be going change scenery now. How you
he might actually have to go Utah,
I can't lie. He has the audacity.
He might actually have to go
the
Utah.
audacity to say, I want to change the scenery when big man, you're not even in your own scene.
Yeah,
that's taking a piss, man. I can't lie. Shut up and get on the court, man.
Sending him to Utah is like sending him to the Church of Scientology.
That is the opposite, but he'll still fly girls in though.
To Utah, no, they won't. It's a Mormon city, innit? You're not allowed to do that stuff.
Bad.
Do you remember when they went for All Star? They said you couldn't drink out there, you couldn't do nothing fun. So
is that bad though?
I can't lie. If that's the case, Utah should be focused, bro. What's going on? Everyone has been used to be focused, bro.
Why do you think they had such a good start to the season, bro? Them young boys ain't have nothing to do out there.
Damn.
Got Colin Sexton focused on his career.
I know, Julian, you got a lot of stuff to air out about this guy. So, do you have the quote of what?
I'm ready.
Karl Anthony Towns, he made a few statements, and I'm just gonna let LA Jules just read out what he said. So
this stems off, I think on a podcast. I don't know if it's with Karl Anthony Towns, but Pat Bev has said. When he was asked who the best big man in the league is, and he says, y'all
needs to stop, man.
Not gonna like my answer. Karl Anthony Towns. Bearing in mind, Jokic won the chip with the second greatest combined points, assists, and rebounds total of NBA history as a big man, and Embiid winning the MVP as a big man, and you're telling me Karl Anthony Towns is. And this is Karl Anthony Towns' response. When my time's up and I retire, there's going to be people who are going to say that I changed the game.
Piss off.
Like, boys. I saw this and I started losing my head.
No, what you don't understand is he plays a lot of Fortnite. And I think that's the game he's referring to.
He didn't refer to NBA.
No,
okay.
He knows he's not like that. But.
Yeah, okay.
What the heck did he change? Because the only thing that I saw these changes is how to look weak against the Marcus Cousins. He changed that. What else? What else did he change? How can you make that statement?
I think from like without me like losing my head over it, he's wrong. Like I'm not gonna question if he's wrong. However, he was definitely one of the finesse big men that came in the league because he was shooting threes at a high clip. Remember, he won the 3-point shootout as well. He's like, I'm the best 3-point shooting big or whatever. Like he's been less of a back to the basket center than
that's because the game became a shooting game.
100%, and I think he was part of that movement as well. Though, like if you had to say,
he just joined on the
no, but he entered the league at the right time. I'm not saying he's the person who changed the game or changed the face of the league or anything like that. I think he was just one of the. I think at one point people were looking at him and saying, "I would like a center like that on my team." When he was younger, now he's just been a bit of a dud, innit? Like he hasn't done a great deal, but even then, like he hasn't had a terrible career, you know. He just hasn't done anything in the postseason. But you're right, 100%. He's crazy for saying that. Crazy for saying that. I just think he was almost one of the prototypes of like what GMs wanted from a center at one point. I don't even think that's the case anymore. Yeah. I think we've gone back to having the back to the basket bigs again. Yeah.
I mean, just to round off his stats
for the year.
So his stats, we'll do his stats of all time, career, and then we'll do last couple seasons. So all time, we've got 23 points, 11.2 rebounds, 3.2 assists in 511 regular season games. He's played in 3 All-Star games and won the Rookie of the Year award. In terms of percentages, he's shooting 52.6 from the field, and he's shooting 39.5 from the three.
Bro.
His career high in 3-point percentage was 41.2, and his career lows is 34.1%. His career high field goal percentage was in his rookie season and second season at 54.2%, and his career low field goal percentages is 48.6 in 2020 to 21. And then his highest points per game.
How did he do this year? Because he played power forward a lot this year.
So this year was 20.8 points, 8.1 rebounds, shooting 49.5% from the field, 36.6 from the three. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to go back to his career high season, where in 2019-20, where he averaged 26.5, 10.8 rebounds, 50.8% from the field, 41.2% from the three, which was his best season overall. So has he changed the game?
Those numbers are quite good though, right?
They are.
I mean,
they're not game-changing numbers.
Shout out Big Zesty, as they like to call him.
Is that what they call him?
Yeah, because you know the way he be talking on podcasts.
Okay,
yeah. So shout out him because he is one of the best 3-point shooting bigs we've ever seen. That, or at least centers.
Because there's not a lot of them, but
right? Yeah, valid. But there ain't no kid out here shooting threes, shouting Towns or Cat. You know what I'm saying? Bro, you ain't
Meow,
changed
nigga.
shit.
Meow,
Ain't nobody
nigga.
trying to be like you. Ain't no GM trying to build a team around you or around players like you. You're a center that can't play defense, that doesn't understand the intangibles, that isn't great at responding to coverages and dissecting the game. My friend, you are a phenomenal podcast guest. I don't even like his main podcast. I only like it when he visited other podcast people. And I think on Paul George's podcast, they had a conversation about it as well. And it's like the value that you get from Towns being a center and dragging centers out and killing them with their shooting, you do not get at power forward. And that's why this year has been a bad year for him. So, and why the Gobert move did not make any sense. Actually, no, it wasn't Paul George, it was JJ Redick. I keep shouting out JJ Redick on this podcast. I don't even like him like that. I don't even like dude like
He's
that.
got a good podcast.
Yeah, it's a very, very good podcast. But that weakness there at the 4, it's all right because they don't mind being outside. They don't mind being on the perimeter as much. So Towns, I don't think you're in the right situation. I don't think you got that dog in him. Jimmy, Sanju, you came out, told the story, and you just made yourself look worse. Please continue trying to change the game as a streamer because that's the only game you're changing.
100%. That's a perfect round off of Cat. So he needs to be stopped in his tracks right now. And he said this on Pat Bev's podcast, right?
It was Pat Bev Yeah, I don't know if it was Pat Bear's podcast or his.
We need to ban
it's
NBA
Pat
niggas
Bear's-
from
Pat
podcasts.
Bear's
Forget
pod, yeah.
banning niggas from podcasts.
Draymond started this shit.
It's Pat Bear's pod still.
Pat Bev, giving him a podcast is one of the worst things you could do. So just to round off, interesting one. CP3 obviously was waived by the Suns, and he came out and said, that's what he stated, right? That he wants to stay with the Suns.
Yeah, he would like to remain with the Suns.
So
is what he's been said.
Is this the stinker? Is this an air ball? Is this a swish? Is this what are you guys rating this? Because I'm just rattled the fact that he actually said this. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. You got waived. Bye you.
So I think when the Suns first waived him, I remember seeing Shams or Woj. One of them said they waived him, but there's still high possibility that they could just bring him back on a reduced contract.
Okay.
So I think that's why they've just done it to clear cap space and maybe break down his contract over X amount of years, innit? You know how it works.
So you would then add a new contract on top of that.
But it will be I wouldn't be surprised if he signed like a vet minimum or something like that. When I think Richard Jefferson said it, how his career earnings, he's one of like the top 3 career earners of all time in the NBA, because he got drafted at the right point. He was the president of CBA and he negotiated perfectly in line with where his contract was. He was one of the first people to sign a Supermax contract extension. So his bread is different, bro. So when you get to that point and you've got branded, remember he's still got a Jordan signature shoe as well, which is us. All that stuff and all the other endorsements with State Farm and whatnot. He's got enough money.
Listen,
But him saying, he said absolutely though. He said, I absolutely wants to remain in Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's why I'm there.
It's long. It's when you're that age, and your kids are older as well, and they apparently they've been living in LA. They've never moved back to Phoenix. He don't. At least now they're in the same time zone. He don't want to have to go all the way to what other city would it be now? The only other place I can see him going to is LA at this point, like the Lakers, maybe even the Clippers, but LA.
I hear you, but again, I'm with Rodney. It don't cast. Last. Now everybody go chop breakfast. Shayo.
No.
This ball is all over.
Hey.
You tried. Well done. Yeah, listen, man, it's okay to not win a ring, you know. Some man don't win rings. Except Kyle Lowry, you got fat ass in a ring.
Hey yo.
I'll never forget that tweet. Hey, you know that's an iconic reference. Y'all don't know about that?
But no pause.
Pause. Are you happy now?
What reference is that? Who said that?
Have you not seen that tweet?
The picture.
He said, Kyle Lowry got a ring and a fat ass, and none of you girls can relate.
Damn.
That's a crazy.
This is the first time I'm hearing of this.
This is an all-timer.
Nah,
Oh
wrap it up then.
Yeah. So I don't see what the Suns do with CP3 just because, like I say, his injury history made no sense. Obviously, Chicago Bulls are contacting teams to listen to trade interest with Zach Lavine. I don't know where this is gonna end up. To me, the
another
Bulls,
team that shouldn't have extended a player but still did.
The Bulls right now are a mess. They need help. So,
Shout out Gerald.
yeah.
Do you know what, slightly quickly actually, I want to say this, yeah? Unless you're the team that drafts that player, yeah? I haven't seen a good example of a Supermax contract working out. Like there's Giannis, there's Jokic, there's Steph.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of those 3, when has a Supermax extension ever worked out and you've won a title?
Ja Morant soon, you know. Joking.
They've all been deals all drafted as well, isn't it?
They're by the
Yeah,
team. That's what
by
I'm
the
saying,
team,
though,
so,
innit?
yeah.
Like LeBron and AD, neither of them were on the Supermax when they won a ring.
True.
19, Kawhi wasn't on the Supermax.
I guess like Giannis.
That's what, but it's the team that drafted him.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Probably
unless
going
you
back to San Antonio days.
unless you draft that player, don't even then, bro. Like when was Bradley Beal ever worth the?
No, he should never got a Superman.
No, but the whole point of the max here is to keep good players or players who have because you have to meet a certain criteria to get it, right? Mm-hmm. But it's to keep the players in the less desirable locations. Isn't it? If he knows he can make $50 million a year in Washington, then by all means he's gonna want to stay there because they can pay him like $10 million a year more than anyone else. There should be something in it. We're saying how if you choose to leave that team, your contract should because no other team's gonna want to take 50 mil for Bradley Beal. Even Dame at this point is a question if they want to pay 50 mil a year to him. Definitely not Zach Lavine. These men might end up working in Costco.
You're trying to fuck with niggas' bread, man.
It's a bit much.
If I'm an NBA player right now, I'm telling everyone to come and dislike this podcast.
And yeah, that's going to do it for the podcast. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Let us know your comments and thoughts, obviously, on Denver and all the topics we discussed today. Make sure you follow us on all socials at Take It to the Rim Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, and on TikTok at Take It to the Pod on Twitter. Keep rocking with us. Keep supporting us, doing all of that. Make sure you also follow Soji as well. All his details will be out there as well. Returning guests. It was good to have you come back on as well. Made some very, very good points and really stamped yourself here. So, well done for that.
Thank you very much. Shout out again the Nyla GG Memorial Tournament. Really wonderful. No. It's a really lovely cause.
Okay.
It's a really lovely cause. It's not even funny. It's actually kind of sad.
No, it's just like, yeah.
I mean, I won it. Obviously,
that's why I was laughing.
I'm 2-time summer champion. You know what I mean? But yeah, and shout out them as well. That's what I wanted to say. It's a basketball tournament as well.
Yeah, man. And as Jules always says to take us away.
Over and out, baby.
We out. Sayonara.